It's Rick Harsh, CoronaSums.press, and I got an order this weekend. I can't mail it until Monday because the post isn't open it closes at 6 o'clock on Friday and opens again in the morning on Monday. So, I wait till Sunday night and I pack them up and send them out. And I thought maybe once in a while I should show you, how things are actually working here in the uh, control center of CoronaSums.books. I'm not going to name the person who made the order or show the address, but I'm going to show you the books. It's a great order because it's uh, 60 euros worth of books, and yet look how little space it takes. Um, the reason is not only that these are the pocketbooks, and our pocketbooks are real pocketbooks, they're small, but he also ordered actually, this is the heaviest one. Wailing Madness, Shame, and Death is a terrific novel by Wade Gavin of Brisbane, Australia. And yeah, I've not heard anything but great responses to this novel, which pleases me because I never heard of him, and I don't know where he heard of me or us, but he contacted me, and I don't take submissions, so um, I don't know what I said to him, but I probably said what I usually say, which is I don't take submissions, so send it, but may don't burden me. Try to send it in a less burdensome manner. I'm way behind. I have something. People send things for me to read. There's a very short one, and I have from one of our really great customers. He sent something, and it looks like it's well written, but I can't get past the first page because it's in a very tiny font, and I just need to sit down and say, all right, it's like 7 or 8 pages in a very tiny font, short story. It's not an actual submission, but I feel really bad, that I've been so late. And if you're watching this, know that I'm thinking about it all the time because it's always on the computer, the bar up above, and I will get to it. And all I can say right now is it looks to be very well written. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, this was probably something like that, and I said send me 5 pages or 10 pages or something like that, and you can often tell from the first page. It was that way with Ben Lieberman. When I got his book, I could tell right away. Well, this guy can write. I mean, if this is a good novel, it's a good novel. I mean, it's well written, and I think I felt that way with him. But there was, um, a, a connection in an unusual way. The attraction to a dark theme and an unrelenting approach to the world's dark side, and yeah. So I don't know. This was a lucky break. It reminded me of the Stickley break. Robert Stickley's Bended Circuity. This was I like had many people say that it's unbelievable that was a first novel. Um, and I can understand because the level of writing in that book is very high. But then again, if you ask Stickley, he was there the whole time because he was writing it, and it took him, I think it was 8 years, and so he's probably thinking, shouldn't be so surprising. I mean, I'm just a human, and I wrote some human stuff, and it should be good. I spent 8 fucking years on it. Well, anyway, uh, so it's amazing. You may not notice it depending on who you come across, but I've been lucky to meet a lot of humble people who write books, and it's very pleasant when that's the case. And there's only been I think there's only been one um, um, writer that I've had to deal with who did not uh, have a shred of humility in his bones. But most, even if maybe they don't, and maybe they eat their children, I don't know. But they in dealing with me are always kind and humble. All of them, all of them. Even Zach Tanner, and he's insane. So I don't know. Uh, Maybe it's just insane in the way that I connect with as I connected with this book. So anyway, uh, this is one of the books in the order, and the lift. I was very happy to see someone buy this. I'm running out. I think because I gave so many away. Look how thin it is. This is a Beckettian radio play by someone who's now dead, but whose brother I know very well, from Isola. And he was where does it say on here? He wrote 2 movie screenplays, several TV movies, and 12 theater plays. Um, his most lauded works include The Lift and 5 chamber onto dramas. I'm not sure what that really means, but um, he wrote 24 radio plays, performed on Radio Slovenia, Radio Koper, these are local, Deutschland Radio, Köln Radio, Trieste, Leipzig, Radio Oslo, Radio Sofia. So in Central Europe, he was pretty well known. And this happened to already have been translated and published once, so the translation was available, and we didn't have to pay for that. And it's very thin, so I need to order a bunch more as soon as we get a little spare change, because, like I said, I've given a lot away. It's very easy. I need to give away free books because post is so high, and it's very easy to slip this in, and a surprise, a little bonus. I think people like surprises and free books, and so at some point I realized that red batch of books, the spines. Can you imagine like 10 of these? Would be like, let's see, about 10 of these would be 2 of these, something like that. So a little stretch in the bookcase of the lift books, and suddenly I realized it was a very small sliver, and I think I had 5 left, and so now it's probably down to 4 if I can find where I put the other ones. Anyway, so that's the second one. Another one that was like that, and because it happened with this one, I caught myself with this one. This is Zach Tanner's Some Features of Living Matter in the Neighborhood of the Sun. That's nice, isn't it? If I had someone operating the camera, or if I knew how to do it, you'd get a nice close up, but you lose the sun, the artificial sun, the eclipse sun. There was an eclipse. So another thin one, and so you just slip it in. But this is bought and paid for, so there's $30 right there, 3 books, and all excellent so far. Then these are like now we're getting into the books that should be because I don't know, books like The Lift, that should be a European classic. Some European classics publisher should know about Dmitri Karl and publish him. But the U.S. writers, the U.S. has its they have the money, the structures, and so on. So I'm not going to say that no matter how good Tanner and Gavin are. Well, no, he's Australian. What the fuck am I talking about? He's Australian. Yeah, so he would fit. That would fit too. So that's there are 3 books here that should be New York Review of Books classics, and if they knew about them, read them, and so on, they would, should be an NYRB classic. It's of that quality. And so is this one. And it's translated into several languages. I know Serbian is one. Bedraggling Grandma with Russian Stones. Stones. I'm sorry about that. This is an extraordinary modern novel and very funny. And so is this. This guy's Canadian. João Reis is from Portugal. And it did get nominated for the Dublin Prize, and it didn't win. This one was nominated for the New Brunswick Novel of the Year prize for, I think, 2022, and it did win. And now the New Brunswick Prize, stick up your nose all you want, but I'll just shove this in there. This book is really, really good and funny, just like João Reis, and it's a satire, a little satire. Never hurt anybody. Although satire comes from, I think, an old Latin word meaning to cut. No, that's sarcasm. So I don't know about satire. I don't know where that came from. Probably from somebody who used to sit around a lot. So another great book. And then we get into a writer was going to be the subject of my video tonight, but I decided to. I was so happy about this guy ordering 6 books that I thought, all right, let me just show you what goes on in my head and behind the, in my little office space that's in my bedroom, the command and control center of our press. This is what I call the 40 euro pocketbook. It's Chandler Brossard's The Double Dealers. Now, why do I call it the 40 euro book? Because it's a pocketbook, $10, standard price. So it's worth that. Content of the novel, all right? And it's also, the artwork on the cover is extraordinary. It's got a great spine, and it's got... the motif in the book is, your double guy. So you've got Jekyll and Hyde here, and an older Jekyll and Hyde here. And this is about the last of the books where we put this fucking barcode on. So for the artwork alone and the feel of the book, it's worth another 10 euros. So that's 20 euros. And then we've got an extraordinary introduction by Zach Tanner, who's our Brossard expert, and it's called The Janus-Faced Nickel Even Rimbaud Couldn't Have Dreamed Up, an introduction by Zachary Tanner, and it's a terrific introduction. That's worth $10 just on its own. And then it's got an afterword by Brossard's daughter, Iris Brossard. We've published a book of her poetry and a couple of stories, and fascinating stuff. And she wrote an afterword that's just amazing, about her dad, Chandler Brossard. So what I was going to do today was just a Brossard, show all the Brossard books and talk about Brossard. But I'm actually only going to show you the one that was ordered. So here's the order. Now, I'm going to put it in an envelope, my standard envelope for 2 kilo, up to 2 kilograms. If usually you can fit a lot and get it, that's around 2 kilograms, and you can fit it in here. So what I have to do is weigh the books. I have a scale over here. I can put it over here. There, it's a kitchen scale. It's not going to work if I don't put it flat. So I'm not going to do this right in front of you. Or maybe I will. Maybe I'll do it right here. I can do it. I can do it right here. All right. So now it's you got to turn it on and get it to measure grams. All right. I'm waiting for it to come on. Doesn't always work right away. I think it maybe needs a new battery anyway. So how much does this weigh? It's not on zero yet. So let's just see what it weighs without being on zero. All right. Okay, now it's on grams, but it says minus 907. So I bet it's 907 grams. If I can get it to go back to zero. Now it's back at zero. 907 grams. Right. Okay. So I can mail this, and it would be 16 euros. Insane amount of money for under a kilogram. Or I could add some free books because someone was nice enough to order 6 books. I can add some free books and put it in the big envelope and send it, up to 2 kilograms. But what would I put in? That's often, something to think about. Well, obviously, I like to put in thin books because then you can put in more, or you can put in a thin book and it doesn't raise the price to the 1 to 2 kilogram range. So I have Iris Broussard, the daughter of Chandler Broussard. He ordered Broussard. He should have this. This is Iris Broussard's book. And so I'm going to put this in. And now we're getting close to this. It's very thin and light. It's getting close to the going over the 1 kilogram. So I'm going to go over the 1 kilogram without thinking about it. Now, what do I do to choose another one based on what this person? Often I'll just talk to people and say, well, you ordered enough. Maybe I could throw in a couple pocketbooks. They'll tell me, and I'll put them in. But with this one, I have no idea. What do I put in here? Well, if I'm being generous, I think, okay, here's another thing. We sell a bunch of my books. There are people who really like my books and buy them, and but it's hard for me to put my own book in, and, I also have humility. So I generally don't put my own book in, but I like to, I think, okay, well, whoever you are, you probably would like something unusual that you never would have thought to read. And then I think David Vardaman, one of the best writers in the United States, the last, I don't know, his books just started getting published with me. I'm going to put in the flip book, which is 2 novellas. And he's a dark and funny writer. And so we're going to give them that also. But then again, that it's kind of, there's just so much room. And the cost is still, it doesn't cost me anything to send something that I paid for 3 years ago or whatever. So I'm thinking, what else should I put in there? And looking through here, is there, I'm thinking, how about once in a while, just really generous, put in a 20 euro book. So, but now we have to go back to the scale. This is one of the greatest accomplishments of our press, getting Roberto Arlt, the first time it's ever been published in English properly, the combined novel, the novel that's 2 parts combined, The Flamethrowers and the 7 Madmen. Okay, that is 640 grams. Vardaman brings it to 867. Now it's 926. And so it should be about 1850 or 60. Okay, it's 1813. So this is what I'm going to pack up and send to the person who ordered books today. Um, just to give you an idea of the process and to assure you that as long as it's possible, we will always try to reward people who buy our books with a little something extra. Um, there's no formula for it. I think you probably could have perceived that. And well, I also this is April 14th, 2024. Israel bombed the consulate, an act of war, of the compound of the consulate in Damascus, Iran's, and that was just like that's a step too far. There's this proxy or shadow war going on in the Middle East, and I can condemn what's going on in Gaza, and I can support that with a great many arguments and facts and so on that are not commonly known, but it's something I've studied. But the contemporary situation outside of Israel is much more complicated, and I wouldn't presume to say much about it, but I would say that bombing a consulate is a step too far. That's an act of war, and Iran has now responded, and so now it's a little bit scary, which is why I mentioned the date. And it's only scary because first of all, I think Netanyahu is in the grip of a kind of insanity, but I'm also afraid that U.S. policy, which needs to be intelligent right now, is not being intelligent. There's no reason for the U.S. to be involved in the war. There's no reason for the U.S. to involve itself with a country that bombs other countries' consulates. There's an unprovoked and completely over the top thing that Israel did. But the last thing I saw on the news tonight is that Israel is threatening an unprecedented assault, which will, of course, invite another, assault. And the U.S. is pledging to its ironclad support. So these are perhaps scary times. I haven't yet followed enough and read enough to see what's really true, but I think what Iran did was very, very measured and intelligent. They sent a shitload of bombs that they know are going to get blown out of the sky. I heard, this may not be true, early news, 99% of the bombs sent towards Israel were shot out of the sky. The U.S. apparently helped. Bad move, because now they're involved. But Iran, I think at this point, if they actually put out something, and they justified their attack by citing a UN resolution about the sacrosanct nature of embassies in various countries. And they said, that as far as they're concerned, it's over. They've done what they needed to do. They said something along those lines, telling the U.S. stay out, and basically telling Israel, okay, it can stop right now. It's over. And they know what they're capable of doing and what Israel is capable of doing. And so they know that what they did by sending all these surface to surface missiles, that they're going to most of them will be shot down, and but it'll be a spectacular fireworks display. And so they've done what they needed to do. Any country would. I mean, imagine if somebody blew up the U.S. embassy. I think it's happened actually, and it leads to international engagement. Last time I think it happened was in '98, and the pharmaceutical factory in Khartoum was blown up. That's another story, but you get the idea. So that's your political commentary, and I say that because by tomorrow maybe none of you will be looking at Twitter for anything but war news, as far as I know. Well, let's hope for peace and hope for the U.S. to be as sane as Iran, and say, okay, well, if that's it, then it's okay. And Netanyahu, don't fucking drag us into a war. We know what you're trying to do. Everybody knows that's what he's trying to do. He wants the U.S. in the war because he doesn't want it to end, because everybody else in the world is condemning the massacres, the bizarre and slow strangling of the society and the murders and so on in Gaza. The whole world outside of the U.S. and even in the U.S., a large number of people understand what's going on there. And I think Israel is seeing now that the world will not tolerate the further abuse of Palestinians, and so there is going to have to be a solution. The international community will, eventually even convince the United States that something has to be done, and Palestinians have to be on an equal footing as Israelis, and so that means that the Israeli goal to have it all, which we can see that it's the only reason for the settlement policy since '67. That is what their goal is. They're not going to get it. It's not going to work, and so that makes Benjamin Netanyahu and his ilk, and there's a lot of ilk there, very dangerous. And so let's hope that the United States is as intelligent and measured as Tehran, Iran, and for a peaceful tomorrow. Did I just say that? Yeah, you did, I guess. Yeah. Bye.